What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Chat Kid, coming back with another creepypasta video. Sorry for not uploading for a couple of weeks. It's actually been 2 weeks. I've just haven't been feeling all that well recently. I'm going to be taking a break from the Jeff the Killer series. So yeah. Today we're going to be doing Smile.dog, which is another classic. So yeah, let's just get right into this. Alright. Oh, that's why isn't that working? Alright, it's good now. Okay. I first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed, since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments, and, if all had gone according to plan, some piece of fiction. We scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business, but at the last moment Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me. For half an hour I sat with Terence as we camped outside the bedroom door, while listening and taking notes while he fruitlessly attempted to calm his wife. The things Mary said made little sense, but fit the pattern I was expecting. Though I could not see her, I could tell from her voice that she was crying, and more often than not, her objections to speaking with me centered around an incoherent diatribe of her dreams, her nightmares. Terence apologized profusely when he ceased the exercise, and I did my best to take it in stride. Recall that I wasn't a reporter in search of a story, but merely a curious young man in search of information. Besides, I thought at the time I could perhaps find another similar case if I put my mind and resources to it. Mary E. was the size up for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpg and changed her life forever. She and Terence had been married for only 5 months. Mary was one of an estimated 400 people who saw the image when it was posted as a hyperlink on the BBS. Although she was the only one who spoken openly about the experience, the rest have remained anonymous or perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what sometimes is referred to as Smile.dog. The being Smile.jpg is reputed to display. What caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of the cyber legend and my proclivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point that people don't believe it exists other than as a rumour or hoax. It's unique because, though the entire phenomenon centres on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certainly, many photo-manipulated simulacra litter the web, showing up with the most frequency on sites such as the image board on 4chan, particularly the X-Focus paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fakes because they do not have the same effect the true Smile.jpg is believed to have, namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety. This perpetuated reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom-like JPEG is regarded with such disdain, since it is particularly absurd. Though depending on who you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge Smile.jpg existence might just be as much out of fear as out of disbelief. Neither Smile.jpg nor Smile.dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other, perhaps more scandalous shock sites as Hello.jpg. Any attempt to create a page pertaining to Smile.jpg is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with Smile.jpg are the stuff of internet legend. Mary E.'s story is not unique. There are many unverified rumors of Smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002, a hacker flooded the forums of human satire websites, something awful with a deluge of Smile.dog pictures, rendering almost half the forum's users at the time epileptic. It is also said that in the mid to late 90s that Smile.jpg circulated on Usenet as an attachment of a chain email with the subject line, "Smile! God loves you!" Despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are also very few people who admitted to having experienced any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen Smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, alleged victims of the same description of the photo, a dog-like creature, usually described as appearing similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of a camera, sits in a dim room. The only background visible is a human hand extending from the darkness near to the left side of the frame. The hand is empty, but is usually described as beckoning. Of course, most of the attention is given to the dog, or dog creature, as some victims are more certain than others about what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is repeatedly split in a wide grin, revealing 2 rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims who claim to have seen the picture enter repeat in their mind's eye during the time they are, in reality, having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue indeterminably, often while the victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some cases more effective than others. Mary E, I assume, was not on medication. That was why, after my visit into her apartment in 2007, I sent out feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news groups, websites, and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim of Smile.jpg who felt more interested in talking about his own experiences. For a time, nothing happened, and at length I completely forgot about my pursuits, since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy. Mary contacted me via email, however, in the beginning of March 2008, to jml@.com, from marye.net. Subject: last summer's interview. Dear Mr. L, I am incredibly sorry about my behaviour last summer when you came to interview me. I hope you understand it was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realise that I couldn't have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope you forgive me. At the time, I was afraid. You see, for 15 years I was haunted by Smile.jpg. Smile.dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. There's an ineffable quality about my dreams, my nightmares, that makes them completely unlike any real dreams I've ever had. I do not move and I do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is a scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand, and I see Smile.dog. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though I'm not quite sure what it really is. It tells me to leave me alone if only I do as it asks. All I must do, it says, is spread the word. That's how it phrases its demands. And I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could. The week after my incident, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no return address. Inside was only a 3.5-inch floppy diskette. Without them to check, I knew precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I thought I could show it to a stranger, a co-worker. I could even show it to Terence, as much as it disgusted me. And what would happen then? Well, if Smile.dog kept its word, I could sleep. Yet if it lied, what would I do? And who was to say something worse would not come for me if I did as the creature asked? So I did nothing for 15 years. Though I keep the diskette hidden amongst other things. Every night for 15 years, Smile.dog has come to me in my sleep and demanded that I spread the word. For 15 years I have stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of my fellow victims on the BBS spawn where I first encountered Smile.jpg have stopped posting. I heard some of them committed suicide. Others remain completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web. They are the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you forgive me, Mr. L, but last summer when you contacted me and my husband about an interview, I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy diskette. I did not care if Smile.dog was lying or not, I wanted it to end. You were a stranger, someone I had no connection with. And I thought Well, I would not feel sorry when you took the diskette as part of your research and sealed your fate. Before you arrived, I realised what I was doing, was plotting to ruin your life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact I still cannot. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation of Smile.jpg. You may in time encounter someone who is, if not weaker than I, then wholly more depraved, someone who will not hesitate to follow Smile.dog's orders. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary E. Terence contacted me later that month with the news that his wife had killed herself. While cleaning up the various things she left behind, closing email accounts and the like, he happened upon the above message. He was a man in shambles. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He'd found the diskette, he revealed, and burned it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of black plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was how the diskette hissed as it melted, like some sort of animal, he said. I will admit I was a little uncertain about how to respond to this. At first I thought it was some sort of joke, the couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of the Chicago newspaper's online obituaries, however, proved that Mary E. was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in the article. I decided that, for a time at least, I would no longer pursue the subject of Smile.jpg, especially since I had finals coming up in the end of May. But the world has odd ways of testing us. After a full year I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E. I received another email to JML from Els here 82. Subject, Smile. Hello. I found your email address through a mailing list that your profile said you were interested in Smile.dog. I'm sorry, it's not as bad as everyone says it has. I've sent it to you here. Just spreading the word. The final line chilled me to the bone. According to my email client, there was one file attached, naturally, Smile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely a fake, I imagined. And even if it were, I was never wholly convinced of Smile.jpg's peculiar powers. Mary E. had shaken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyway. After all, how much of a simple image of Smile.jpg was said to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with only the power of the eye? And if such things were patently absurd, then why did the legend exist at all? If I downloaded the image, if I looked at it and it turned out to be correct, if Smile.dog came to me in my dreams demanding I spread the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give in until I died? Or would I simply spread the word, eager to put it to rest? If I chose the latter route, how would I do it? Whom would I burden in turn? If I went through my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile.jpg, I decided I could attach it as evidence, and anyone who reads the article, anyone who took interest would be affected. And even assuming the Smile.jpg attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes. Yes, I could. So that was Smile.jpg. Obviously a classical creepypasta. I quite liked it. However, a problem I have with the creepypasta is that it just uses too many big words. Like, this is the internet we're talking about. There's no need to make yourself come across as smart, because that's just a bit unnecessary. Unfortunately, I don't actually know the author. It says here that original author unknown, which sucks, so I can't credit them. So that's sad. So, yeah, I hope you liked this. I hope you liked this story. If you did, tell me your favourite part about it. And if you didn't like it, please sure to tell me why. Leave your creepypasta comments in the description or comment section. And be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those nice things. And of course, it's been the Chat Kid, and he's out.